Okay, good to go.
Good to go.
Great show for you today again. And Laura is going to get us started again. Hi.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Well, at least morning on this coastline, and welcome to another Katasi Healing Talk. I am here with some of the hello.
Here we are.
Here we are. Round two. Hello and welcome to another Katasi Healing Talk. I am here with, again, some most amazing people on this planet, some highly efficient human beings in their work. Next to me, I'm Laura Ketty. This is Laura Philpott. And also sharing their screen this morning is Helmut and Kay Whitaker. And today's topic, again, I don't know, they're all my favorite topics, but I love this topic. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to have this talk. And we're talking about giving thanks. And I've just always loved gratitude. I mean, I have to say it's always been very important. And when I learned gratitude in the way, most recently, in the way Kay taught us and shared with us, it just opened up this whole amazing world, but also power. It's been a powerful change in my life. And I love, Helmut wrote this in the email, the quote, quoting UK, "Nothing is more profoundly effective in improving our lives, relationships, and the world than giving sincere, profound, heartfelt, body felt," love that part, "thanks and gratitude for the future that you wish to see, and feel it as if it's already manifested." I've proven over and over again that path, doing it that way, has worked here in my own life. And so I'm excited, Kay, for you to talk more about this and share the amazingness of gratitude with everybody else. So I'm turning it over to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All the ancient cultures that I have come across and I'm familiar with, they all talk a lot about gratitude. It's a real important aspect of their way of life, their way of thinking and being, just being alive, being here, alive as a human on earth. And they all have their own little versions of how to give thanks, how to give gratitude. And a lot of them, they incorporate this one particular aspect of this way of thinking and feeling and being. It's not something that you recite. We'd have a gratitude ceremony that has come from these ancient traditions that I've taught all the students through the years in various ways. But the more I've gotten into it, the more I've used it, researched it, it's so incredibly powerful that I've started to encourage all the students to do it a whole lot more. And I think my own teacher from the Egyptian tradition, she certainly talked about gratitude, and they had some particular ceremonial actions and giving offerings, spirit offerings to the deities, the netters. But she didn't emphasize the gratitude part. It was there, and she talked about it, and it's part of the teachings of how to do, different ceremonies, how to take care of an altar, how to talk to the spirits. But it never emphasized like it's the most important part of these ceremonies. The Hedekas were a little different. They definitely had a much more pronounced attitude towards thanks and gratitude. But I still, through all those learning years, I still didn't really understand the depth of it. The depth of gratitude, being truly, truly grateful, and feeling it all the way through every part of your being. You're thinking it with your mind, you're feeling it with your emotions, you're feeling it with your body, feeling it with your heart and your gut, sometimes flushing all the way through your body, your whole energy field, and being incredibly sincere with the thanking. Thank you, thank you, thank you for whatever it is you're talking about. Sometimes it's just for the day or for life, that there is life, that you have life. It could be very simple. Sometimes we don't have a particular thing that we are spelling out, naming, to be really grateful for, but we feel grateful. When the more we do this, the more grateful we end up feeling, and the more we feel grateful for all kinds of different things, all kinds of different things. It changes you from the inside out. And in the ancient teachings, in Katasi in particular, the emphasis is on learning about who you are, what you are. And that goes really deep. That's a huge rabbit hole. It just goes deeper and deeper and deeper and gets more and more profound and more interesting. The more you explore it, the more you follow that. And that's, as we do that, we begin to wake up, what the ancients call waking up. That means coming out of it's like a stupor that we've been in, that we've been in a kind of a sleepness from our culture, from the indoctrination of our culture. And we block out so much of ourselves, the truth of who and what we are. And we block out so much of everything else around us, everything. And the truth of what living as a human on earth is like, what it's all about. We have learned in this modern culture to shut that out. Shut all that beauty and the love and the connectedness and the gratefulness. We just have learned to shut it out. And I think, like everybody else, I grew up that way. And, some of my friends who went to church with their family might say prayer at the beginning of a meal, but it's reciting. They say it as quick as they can and get on with business of eating. And there's no real feeling behind it of deep, deep gratitude and understanding about what these things are they're saying thank you for. So that's our culture has just shut those things out of our lives, closed us off. And that puts us in a fog, puts us asleep. It diminishes our physical senses. It diminishes our spirit senses, really kind of shuts the door on the spirit senses. And we got a lot of spirit senses. Shuts the door on a lot of our emotional experience, shuts the door on our ability to focus our attention, to collect our own attention and focus it on what we want to focus on and hold it there without distraction. When we can do that, that is a sign of waking up. We're starting to wake up, because when we can do that and we can focus on something like who we really are, what we really are, that's what the Hedekas would call our song, our beingness. The truth is our soul, our spirit. Everybody has different sorts of names for all of that. Our totality. When we can take our attention and focus on that and feel it, experience who we are, experience that energetic part of ourselves that never dies, lives forever, been here in the universe forever. That's who and what we really are. And when we're waking up, when we're getting out of that fog, we begin to have this ability to turn our attention to how we feel on many levels and in many ways. And a lot of that has to do with our spirit senses, our spirit feeling. Because in English, we don't really have another word besides feel. And most people think that means you're either touching something or you're feeling emotions. And of course, those two things are true. But there's so much more. There's so much more of us that we can be feeling and experiencing. And when we're really tuning into what gratitude is, all of that turns on, and we begin to feel, we begin to experience those aspects, those levels of our being. So I've been exploring more and more and more about gratitude and gratitude ceremonies, all different kinds, and how people use them and when, and what sort of ceremonies they had with them, with this gratitude. So we've been utilizing all of that in more recent times, definitely emphasizing this gratitude and expressing it either silently to yourself, but feeling it, feeling the truth of the gratitude, true thanks for whatever it is you're eating in the moment, or it might be suddenly noticing your house, your home, wherever, your apartment, and my God, you got a roof over your head, and you've got so many conveniences and things that are so pleasant to have around you, make life easy and fun and beautiful. When you are feeling true gratitude for those things, it's a whole body, whole spirit experience. And it's beautiful. It feels incredible. And it's very, very healing. One thing that we've been accentuating with gratitude ceremonies is the aspect that is so common, but it's sometimes with some traditions, it's not talked about in a big way. So it might be easy for people from modern culture to just miss it. But it's this aspect of giving thanks for something, you're feeling it, and you're feeling how you want it to be. Perhaps you've got something physical going on with you or with somebody around you that you'd like to help make it better. If you give thanks for this problem, this thing that needs healing, and feel it, see it in your mind, feel it, believe it, feel it with your body, as though it has already happened. It's a very important aspect. You have to be feeling, experiencing, knowing that this is now fixed as it should be. It's now in its whole perfect blueprint state in that person's body, or if it was you, your body, your blueprint. You experience the future, the perfect future. And then give thanks. Give thanks for it. Genuine thanks for this healing. You're not speaking about it as though there is a sickness or a problem that is current. Never use current language, current verb. It's already happened. It's already there. And it's amazing what it does, how much it changes things. My favorite story that I've heard, and I've heard a lot of them from different sorts of traditions through the years, but my favorite one we call the muddy feet story. And it comes, I heard a guy locally talk about it from Taos. And he talks about it in first person, as though, this is a story that happened to him. I don't know if that is true, because I've heard it in other ways from other people, other countries, time periods. But the story is really valid, and it's a good story, well told. So he gets this call from a good friend of his, and up in Taos, there's a pueblo there, and his friend is a full-blood Indian, still a fairly young man. I mean, not 20s, probably 30s. Yeah. From my point of view, 40s. It's a young dude. But he's studying with the elders. He's studying with the medicine people, and they've been training him on different medicine traditions from the tribal tradition. And they've trained him on how to make rain, how to call rain. And at that time, we had a really, really bad drought here in the Southwest, many years, super bad drought. And so the elders asked him to do the process, do the steps. And that means going to this sacred place up in the mountains. It's way up there, out of the way, no people. And only the tribal people know about this spot. And it's a big circle, medicine circle, out of stones. And when they want something special, want to do a ceremony in a really, really special way, they go to that place. So his friend asks him if he wants to go with him, just the two of them, go up to this place and do a rainmaking ceremony. His white friend was like, yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. So they get in the truck and they drive off. They get as far as they can go on the truck, and then they have to walk. And he talks about how he just loves that area. It's full of sage, juniper, different pine trees, and they have this incredible smell to them. They're just wonderful to be around and great energy. So there's a long walk through this kind of territory, and he's just loving it. They're walking along. They finally get to the circle. The Indian friend takes off his shoes and socks, tells the white guy, stand here outside the circle, don't say anything, and just be there, just watch. So he steps inside the circle, and he's only in there for a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, not a very long time. And then he steps back out, backs up, steps out, starts to slip his shoes and socks on, and says, all right, let's go get a hamburger. And the white guy is just like, well, where's the ceremony? I came here to do a big ceremony with you. Where's the pipes? Where's the tobacco? What happened? And he said, oh, I finished it. I finished the ceremony. It's all done. It's all done. And the white guy's like, he just can't quite put his mind around it. So as they're walking back to the truck, the Indian tells him what he did. And he said, it's a very, very sacred place. You got to take shoes off, socks off. You got to be in bare feet. And for this ceremony, we're calling rain. Got to have the feet bare on the ground so you can feel the dirt. It's really important to be physically in touch with the earth. And he said, then I pictured and I felt myself, here in the circle with the rain coming. And I felt and smelt the rain and felt it come down my face and getting my hair wet. And I could smell it. I could smell it on the sage bushes and the pine trees. And there's a smell up here when the water hits the sage and the juniper and the pine trees and the dirt, even just the dirt. It gives off this incredible smell. It's a wet smell, but it's luscious. And he said, I was standing in my village in the Pueblo in Taos and in the courtyard and feeling the rain under my feet, the mud, my toes, just ooshing in the mud. He said, I went up to my adobe house, his little home of part of the Pueblo, and when it hits that adobe, it gives off that smell. He could smell that really special smell. And he named a couple of other places and things that he was feeling and experiencing, and the wet and the getting kind of cold and the smell on the air and the taste of the water. He leaned his head back and tasted the rain and all of this while he's standing in the circle. And he's giving thanks the whole time. He's saying, thank you. Thank you to the sky people. Thank you to the clouds and the ground and the water. And the water that came up in the air, evaporating and making clouds. And so he's giving very deep, full body, full spirit thanks and gratitude for this rain. And he's feeling the rain. It's already happened. It's already here. There's mud everywhere. And the plants are all really happy. And the trees are all really wet. And the houses are getting wet. And he's experiencing it and giving thanks. It's already happened. Thank you. Thank you. And he stepped back outside the circle, and, that's the story. So when they got back into town, they went to their favorite hamburger place and got their favorite burgers. And the clouds had been collecting the whole trip, the whole walk and drive back. And while they're sitting there by the window in the burger place, and it's super cloudy, big clouds, thunder clouds, full of rain, dark. It's getting dark. And then it starts raining, a lot of rain, and raining and raining and raining and raining. And that was really, really beautiful. It was really great. And he's giving thanks. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the water. And they go home and it's still raining. And through the night, it's super pouring and there's big wind that came with it. And the next day, it's still super pouring rain. And the roads in town are getting flooded. And people's gardens are getting, crops are getting flooded. And some places are kind of washing away a little bit, eroding from the heavy rain. And it keeps raining. And so the white guy calls up the Indian guy and asks him, what's with all the extra rain? Why is there so much? What's happening? And he said, well, the elders taught me how to make the rain, but they never taught me how to make it stop. So we just have to let nature make it stop. So that's the muddy feet story. And I just love it. That the whole picture and feeling of him standing in the dirt, in the mud, and it's getting deeper and wetter, and he's squishing his feet in it and loving it, and he's feeling it just all over, and the smell, this incredible, beautiful smell. It's like a magic smell. That is how you do that. That is how you give gratitude. And you can give gratitude for things that really and truly have already come to be, for sure. But you can give gratitude for just about anything. As I've told my students a couple of times already, we were in the backyard at sunrise. I think it was summer. I think it was hot. And in the backyard, we had this big green belt area. And so there's a distance before you get to the houses on the other side, on the road over there. But there were people in the house over there yelling, screaming at each other. And it went on and on and on. So I thought, okay, I really want to put this to the test. I'm going to give gratitude in the middle of their screaming and picture it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to stop hearing, what's out there. And it's just not there anymore. And I'm just going to picture this exquisite peace and quiet and bird sounds and the wind in the bushes. And I just kept saying it over and over. Thank you for the peace. Thank you for the quiet. Thank you for the freedom. I just kept repeating it and feeling it and feeling it. And they stopped screaming. They just stopped. We didn't hear a thing from them. Not a clink or clank or a nothing. Just stopped.
Ever since.
And yeah, ever since. No screaming anymore. Actually, even I never thought of that till this moment, but it's not the same people, but it's another house over there have these big dogs, and sometimes they get all riled up with coyotes or other dogs walking by, or maybe they're arguing with each other, but they have this terrible big dog, growly, barky, I'm going to tear you apart kind of a bark. and barking at each other. Or maybe it's, another dog out there or something. They haven't been doing that much. I've heard a little bit of bark, a little tiny, but I didn't really pay any attention till just now. Like, oh my God, the dogs aren't doing their thing. It's been all winter and the dogs they aren't doing their thing. So, this is a manifesting ceremony as well as a gratitude ceremony, obviously. But mostly this is about gratitude. And because of the times that we're in, and things seem to be getting crazier and crazier, some things are getting better. You can see, the public changing, attitudes, ideas, beliefs changing for the better. But the guys that seem to want to perpetrate all this control stuff and the lies, and their screaming is getting louder for sure. So in order to do as much as we can do as individual humans and as a group of humans, we decided we would do publicly gratitude ceremonies at sunrise and on a regular basis. And everybody is invited. It's pretty easy. And there isn't anything real special or special steps or some traditional ways of doing a longer gratitude ceremony where you start with the sun and then the earth and the sky and go through, as animals, plants, water, the earth. So it's a typical kind of a list that you'll hear a lot in Native American world. And when I do my long one by myself at sunrise, it's long and I include all kinds of things, lots and lots of details. But I'm giving thanks to all these different things like the sky and the sun and the earth, the trees. But in the way of this tradition, I'm giving gratitude and picturing, like, I think water is probably one of the most dramatic things to picture this way. I picture the water of the whole world, the whole planet, on the earth, under the land, in the sky, as ice, as water. And I picture it as pure and clean and primal as I can imagine it. And the taste of it, the smell of it, and the look of it, coming down a hill or in the creek or in the ocean or the depths of the ocean. And same with the animals. I picture them more in numbers, like huge flocks of birds and huge groups of all kinds of other animals and places for them to be and live and roam and do their thing, their species thing, whatever that is. And the soil, and picturing it instead of so much land that has no topsoil whatsoever anymore. A frightening amount on the earth right now. I picture it very deep and very different from one ecological little group to the next, because the needs vary of what kind of soil ought to be there and for which sort of plants and which sort of animals. And so I'm picturing all these different types of soils and soil that has been remade, rebuilt, reclaiming the land. And there's a lot of people doing that right now. And I picture huge amounts of that, lots and lots more people doing it. And the microbes in the soil, because without that, you don't have that kind of rich soil. but having it 20 feet deep, 50, 100 feet deep, the way it used to be before we started tearing it apart, destroying it, wasting it. So in my big ceremony, that's the kind of thing that I picture and give gratitude for, and to the spirits and everybody. We'll be doing a slightly shorter ceremony because otherwise it's very long and not very convenient for everybody who would like to participate. And we will give thanks certainly for all these, the natural things around us, but in a much shorter way. And we will give thanks and picture the world full of peace with no harassment, no mandates, no laws that restrict our rights as being living creatures, living humans on this planet. So definitely giving thanks to peace and the quiet inside, that peace inside, and the freedom that all of that brings, and the freedom from the culturally dictated way of thinking and living and being. Give thanks for the human race that is awake right now, and free of all of those antisocial ways of being and living. And that's what I invite people to come and join me and Helmut as we give thanks and picture, manifest this world.
And the beauty and the love and the passion and the joy and the aliveness and connectedness. Beautiful.
All those things of being awake. That's what being awake gives to you.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start out with doing this publicly twice a month. We're probably going to go to more often, but at least twice a month. And if you want to join it, go to katase.world/live. You can sign up there and then you get the details on how to join. And it's most likely going to be Saturday morning or Sunday morning, or one Saturday, one Sunday kind of thing.
Probably has to shift according to other classes that are already pre-scheduled.
So, and like I said, we start out with twice a month and probably going to go to more. And sometimes we just might go live spontaneously here and there. But we want to do more of that.
A lot more. And these are this way of thinking and being and manifesting and doing healings. We want to encourage more of that in the weavings as well. So for those of you who are all part of the weavings, expect to see more of that happen.
Yay.
This is so cool. Thanks for doing this, Kay. I'll be there in my pajamas, but I'll be there.
Oh yeah, morning time. We're planning to do it at our sunrise time, so that'll be a little early for the West Coast people.
We can hack it. We need to be up at sunrise anyway, so.
But we're gonna send out the details if you're on that list. Katase.world/live. while we're at it, we have a lot of stuff going on this year at Laura's home, Katie Farm, Aurora, Oregon. Cool classes, cool gatherings, weaving gatherings included. And if you want to join those, find Laura at lauraketty.com or go to katase.world.
Yeah, there's an opportunity actually to meet Kay in person.
Yeah.
So
I will be there.
It's amazing. It's exciting. It's a very exciting year. And the gratitude, I mean, honestly, I have to say, I've been a kick-ass manifester. It took me a while to figure out that I was doing it. Most humans were doing it. But once, I was always, but the gratitude element of manifesting is beautiful, and it's even more powerful. It's more, I can honestly say in the last month, it's so different. Like there were things that I couldn't manifest yet, and that weren't happening. And and I was using all my other tools, to make all the other manifesting tools. And it wasn't until I stepped in and added the element of gratitude that the shift occurred. And it literally in the last month, I've just seen it work over and over and over and over again. And that part that you say, body felt gratitude, because I was raised as the signature of guilt was all over gratitude. There was just a lot of, we were saying thanks because we weren't homeless and other people were homeless. We were saying, there was so much guilt based off of what we had and, our lack of worthiness. I was raised in that form of a spiritual belief that humans were nothing. This higher being was everything. And you had to constantly, your gratitude was groveling. It was like, who am I but this ant you can step on, literally. And some of my family still practices it that way, and it always rubbed me the wrong way. And what I found is my husband and I always said we were always grateful. Like if we wanted something, if we wanted more income, we spent money like we had income. We gifted because we thought gifts would, we were always, our generosity, we always felt it was a way of telling the universe, thank you, send more, if we were grateful for the things. And I found that worked so much better. And that's, some of the threads of this gratitude, but those are actions. And what Kay is, you've shown me is those are great. And that really like attracts like, that energy is there. But that feeling of seeing it here and now, that's a game changer. I loved you sharing about your experience with it from the other ceremonies too. Thank you. Literally recently, to not break into savings, we needed basically like $583 to finish the bills for this month, not to break it. And so I looked at that number and said, thank you for sending $583 and not letting us. And we were having a meeting with somebody who's already booked an event with us, and they upped their time here, and it ended up being $583 and 80 or something odd cents. Literally. And I'm like, that's ridiculously cool. And I'm like, what else? So I used the ceremony we've had some family members not get along with each other, and it's kind of pulling the whole family down. And I said, to my husband, I'm like, I got this. I'm going to give thanks for them getting along. And I did. And I sat there and I saw them getting along and talking to each other. I saw them and I felt them understand each other and give unconditional love to each other. And I get a message from one of them that said they're going to get together for coffee this weekend, that they had a really good chat. It was like an hour later from doing the ceremony, they reached out to each other, me not doing anything other than giving gratitude. This shit works. It's not shit. Sorry. It does. Okay. It's a game changer. And it's so, what you get to do is feel beauty and gratitude and see something perfect, and magic happens. How it's that heartfelt.
Full of love.
Full of love.
Ever since our last gratitude ceremony that you did live, I've been finding ways to, I get up and watch the sunrise and I do the gratitude there, but I've also, like, before I go to bed, I want to go to bed in gratitude as well. And so I take my little notebook and I said, okay, I'm going to write down at least 50 things that I'm grateful for. And usually it starts out more personal kind of stuff, but it's amazing how gratitude grows. It's like it expands. And I really think it expands energetically as well, right? So I'll start writing those, and it's almost like following a thread. They just like things just jump in that want to be acknowledged and feel grateful for. And I started out with 50, and then I just ran out of room. So I go to the next page, and it's just amazing. But for me, when I write it down, I can feel it too. It's just almost like doing a ceremony, because it's I'm going to do something physical that helps cement it. But yeah. So I've been doing that. But what I've noticed is, like, when it comes to gratitude is also awareness. So it's like you're going about your day, and you're more aware when you're in gratitude. And so therefore, like you had said earlier, your senses are heightened as well, because you're in that state of gratitude and that feeling. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to our morning then, because the idea of all of us doing it at the same time, the intention, because I've noticed the more I do gratitude stuff, that bubble, it goes to the manifesting. It just automatically goes there. And so, like, how we want our future to be, and we're at a bridge time, right? So if this is a pivotal moment where we're thinking about and feeling what we want our society to be, and the love that's permeated it all. So yeah, the other night we did weaving yesterday, and the ladies and I that were doing it, I had this vision that we're all hoeing the ground, and just, I could smell the soil. I could, and the water, it must've been raining because I could smell water. And the next thing I know, we're all like planting seeds. And then I looked up, and we're all like shin deep in this soil. Like, so we're planting seeds. It was like, this is powerful stuff. So yeah, weaving, if anybody wants to do the weaving, I suggest that you do that as well, because it's sowing seeds of love in our future. We're like throwing pebbles of what we want and the ripples to create.
Yeah. And I often get, I think I felt it when I first did the weavings, and now, especially as we've woven in gratitude into the weavings, you feel like you're able to make a change in this world, where you don't feel like all of this stuff is happening and there's nothing you can do. You can weave. And by the time you're done weaving, you really, because you do see the change. I mean, for us who have been doing it with UK, we've seen the change. We've seen things change that we've wanted to see changed. And so it makes us excited to keep doing another, weaving more, and playing with this beautiful, it's, you can call it magic if you want to, but it's you can't not I mean, that's all of this healing is coming up through your body while you're doing it too. And so you can't not change and be affected by it. And you two offering the opportunity to do it with you a couple of times a month is just so cool. Yeah. So cool. I just love it. I mean, yeah, join us, everybody. It's delicious. It's a delicious time.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I've noticed is the effect on how people think, how they're thinking and feeling. We've learned in our modern culture to think and feel in a very habitual way, and it's mostly negative stuff. It's very judgmental. It's all these things like you were mentioning, Laura, about learning how to be less than, that you're a nothing, you're a nobody. The kind of negative thinking that you're powerless, that there's all these other things that are so powerful and inevitable, and it's a bad future, and it's just going to go downhill worse and worse. And I've seen those things change when people have been doing the more gratitude they do, the faster that habit of negative thinking is disappearing inside people.
It's hard to have a bad day when you're filled with that gratitude, or you start out your day that way. Because I know I changed my mailboxes. I'm on a farm, so my mailbox is quite a walk, and I go out into the sun. It's one of my breaks. During the day to get sunlight and fresh air. And prior, the babble would start. With like the to-dos that need to get done. You didn't do, next step, blah, 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 on the way to the mailbox and back. Something shifted since I started doing the gratitude ceremony, because I step outside, and one of the things I'm most grateful for is that fresh air and sunlight. And so when I step outside, I say, thank you. And the next thing I know, all the way back from the mailbox and back, I'm just saying, it, like Laura said, being present. I'm present with what is, I'm thankful for the robins and thankful for the tree, and just like that gratitude energy and the beauty that's around me just starts coursing through again. And, there's no babble this time. Sometimes I have to get in and look at my list, because I'm like, oh, that was too much fun. But my mom I remember being in our station wagon as a kid, and all of us kids fighting. And my good Southern mom, or we were just in a bad mood, that was one of her other tricks. And she would say, count your blessings. She'd stop us all and say, count your blessings. And there was some of that, Southern guilt. Don't get me wrong, but as kids, we used to like, we'd start a thank you for this. But she's like, she wouldn't let us stop, and we'd keep going, and soon it was contagious. As soon as we got over the grumpy teenager or kid, preen attitude, it's suddenly, even as a kid, when you do that with intention, and it wasn't quite the feeling way that you've taught us, but it was baby steps there. It's hard to be in a bad mood when you're feeling grateful.
Or maybe you can't be in a bad mood when you're feeling grateful.
Yeah. But as Laura said, it's just like, it was almost when Mom would start that, we didn't want it to stop, because we kept finding another thing and finding another thing. She was sneaky,
Gratitude grows.
Gratitude grows. But it's like Laura's list that she mentioned, it was like, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, this. And you realize your life is full. It's so full. But Kate, you've turned it on end, and it's not only full, there's more awesomeness coming. Can you see it?
We're already here.
It's already here.
It's here. Has been for a long time. It's here.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. I think we covered it.
We did.
We did.
Thank you.
We have a few minutes left for the day, for the hour. Again, for the ceremony, katase.world/live, and for the fun, cool stuff happening in September in Aurora.
Which is close to Portland in
Yeah.
Salem. Yeah.
LauraKetty.com or katase.world. That includes the weaving. We're going to have an in-person weaving weekend. Yay!
It's so cool. I'm just so, this year is, they've all been a blast, but this is fun, particularly fun for me.
You can join online too. So it's not just
Yes.
in person, but there will be a good in-person group. All right. Any questions, anybody? For the last couple of minutes.
Do you have any questions?
I don't.
Any
there's
of
something in
the
chat, I don't
people
know if I can
watching?
ask anything.
It's just hard.
And thank you, a couple of people, some thank yous and love and all this stuff. Thank you guys for that. And this was beautiful. Any last thoughts before we close it out? Thank you so much for joining, Laura and Laura.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kay. Deanna, love you too. Love you, everybody. Thanks for joining us live. And we see you next time.
Thank you, everybody.
Have fun. Love you.
Love you.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.